Hey guys, it's your girl Chef Jazz here, owner of Green Panther Chef, where we normalize cooking with cannabis. Today I want to show you a quick and simple recipe that I love to make. It's a little indulgent as well. We're going to be doing a grilled cheese, and we're also going to be infusing that with a little bit of oyster mushrooms. All right, so let's get started. In order for us to get that started, I always love to heat my surface. So over medium to low heat, I'm going to heat up my pan. I just don't like to wait for the pan, like ever. I always love it to be just a little bit hot so it's ready whenever I am. So, on the next step, let's prep up our mushrooms. These are beautiful oyster mushrooms. Like, button mushrooms are awesome, but if you really want flavor, really look at other mushrooms. Creminis, oyster mushrooms, portobellos. Those are really awesome if you're looking to, especially if you're vegan. Like, man, it really does replicate the taste of meat. So in order for us to prepare these, I'm just going to cut off the stem. So that's like the little root that you see on the bottom. Just going around. You see they come in little clusters like this, so it makes it pretty easy. I know this would make great for some soup, so let's hang that on the side. That might be another episode. It might be, it probably will. All right, so let's just cut that off. I hear my pan popping in the back. So that means that we are almost on board. In the bottom of the pan, it's all about flavor for sure, right? So I'm gonna grab some garlic. I love using just a little bit of fresh garlic in this just because of the spiciness that it offers and then the earthiness as well. When I break my garlic, I'm not going to do anything fancy. I just take something really heavy and I hit it. That's it. It doesn't need to be. If you want to get a garlic press, I definitely have one here. Yeah, definitely use that. But I work with my hands. All right, so we're just going to take that and I'm going to slice it. Don't really like big chunks of garlic. I mean, if you're into that type of thing, go for it. But just a few slices. And that's going to be the base. All right, let's get started. All right, so right over the heat, make sure this is not too hot. If you want to do something that's really hot, then use a base of canola oil or something like that because the smoke point is a lot higher. But I'm going to be using extra virgin olive oil because it's my favorite thing to cook with. It's my favorite thing to eat almost, especially infused. All right, so right over medium-low heat, we're going to take that garlic. You know what? I think that we should add just a tad bit of onion to this as well. And guys, if you feel like I'm leaving you behind in any type of way, don't feel like that at all. I'm definitely going to leave all of the recipes inside of the show notes or check out greenpantherchef.com. Click that link and make sure you download everything that is there. All right. So it's a nice little thin slice on the onion. I'm using a small knife now. My chef would probably... So in the bottom of that hot oil, or medium hot, we're going to add those onions. I love a sizzling pan, right? Because it adds flavor. It's just as simple as that. If we put things in the cold pans, that's absolutely fine if that's your thing, but it definitely just gives that restaurant quality at home. So if you want that, crank up the heat just a little bit. I do want this to be a little bit dry because we are doing grilled cheese. And this is a little bit decadent. I don't want it to be really watery. So I'm not going to really add salt to the onions. Reason being, plus salt draws out that water. And we do not want that watery type of... Who loves a soggy grilled cheese? I don't have to explain it, right? Okay, cool. Moving on. Let's add a little bit of salt. I'm on the side here. So I do not forget it. Those are starting to smell really good. And then we're going to add a little bit of those sliced garlic. Let me act like I'm not on camera. All right. Just have that cook up just a little bit. I mean, onions, garlic, anything, it smells so good. All right. Perfect time for our mushrooms. We have already stemmed those. And we're going to let the pan do a lot of the work. So now we're going to let that hang out. It's a perfect time for us to prep up a little bit of those herbs. So we're going to be using just rosemary. Just slicing that up just a little bit. Slicing it up. All right, perfect. And then now, in a little bit, we're going to add salt and pepper. So we already have our salt here. If you know anything about Green Panther Chef, we love everything fresh. We love fresh black pepper. So we are going to be using that inside of our mix. And it just really gives to, when we're cooking with cannabis, we have to think about cannabis and food. You don't have to, but I love to. And the reason being is because of the terpene profiles. That's a mouthful. Say that 5 times fast. That are found inside of cannabis and is also found inside of food. So some of my favorite strands are really high in beta-caryophyllene. That is a terpene that is found inside of cannabis that's also found inside of interacts with the CB2 receptors inside the gut. I'm a Crohn's survivor. So that's a whole bunch of words to say that I really look for strands that are high in a beta-caryophyllene content because it interacts with my gut. Simple as that. All right, so we're not going to mess with that too much. It smells really good in here. But as that browns, and I'm starting to see that, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Perfect time to add our black pepper as well. And I kind of go overboard with black pepper because it's awesome. I don't have to go into my spiel, right? All right. Those absolutely look amazing. They smell amazing. I'm going to cut down the heat just a little bit so we can cook those through. But we have that color that we're really looking for. So we like to crank it up on a really high heat. I wish you can smell it and really see it because it's a nice brown on top of those mushrooms. So after you get that brown, you just want to cut down the heat just a little bit and cook those through. All right, let's get cleaned up. All right, that was simple, right? All right, so I'm actually going to be using a panini press for our grilled cheese. So a grilled cheese panini. I love to use it just because it's a no fuss type of kitchen appliance. So it doesn't have to be really, really fancy. It just has to be good. So we're going to be using our butter. Just spreading that. You want it to be a little bit softened, of course. So we can just kind of spread that. The first thing that I always, in culinary school, fat is flavor. That was like the first thing they drilled into my head. I'm like so surprised I'm not like 10,000 pounds by now, but it definitely is. So this was a little bit softer, which it isn't. I mean, we're at home, you're chilling with me, right? So we're just gonna spread that on. And if it was a little bit softer, it will be over the whole entire toast from edge to edge. But trust, it's still good, even if it's not. So we're gonna flip that back over. And now this is the perfect time to add our Swiss cheese. We do not want those mushrooms to get overcooked, so I'm gonna make sure that is cut completely off. Is that all right? Hey, we got some nice thick cheese here. I'm gonna do 2 slices, right? I want to cover the whole entire bread slice. Then we have these beautiful oyster mushrooms. Oh, just put that on one side. You can definitely do both sides with cheese, and that's fine. I'm just not that much of a cheesy person, but I do love the enhancement, the compliments of cheese. So if you definitely want to put some cheese underneath the mushrooms, go for it. It'll probably be a lot better too. All right. So that's pretty simple. I want to throw it right inside the panini press. Ooh, we're going to have to do that over. How about we make another one? All right. This bread is super, super soft. And when I flip it, let's do it there. I had a bright idea in the middle. If you leave it in the comments, what bright idea that I just had in the middle? Or I would love to see that. Like, what chefs are really on board or who watch this? All right, so the same thing that I did before, the exact same process. We got to put on some butter because it just makes it better. Grilled cheese, no butter. I mean, yeah. Peanut butter, no jelly. Who likes that? So we have a really hot panini press. We're going to put butter side down, okay? So if you can see this, just let me know. Put butter side down. And then on the other side, I'm going to add just a little bit of butter too. And why do I add butter on both sides? If someone could just leave that in the comments, I would absolutely love it. Because that means that you're paying attention and you hung out with me until this long. All right, so I want to throw this on the grill because I'm not going to let anything go to waste. So let's go to waste. I'm going to give it a good little press, and then that's basically it. I'm going to let that hang out on the panini press for about 5 minutes. So guys, I'm going to get cleaned up and then check us out in about, 5 minutes. All right, guys, so we are back. We're about to take our panini off of the press. And this is filled with our oyster mushrooms, our Swiss cheese, and just a whole bunch of goodness, all right? So as far as the infusion process, how can we infuse it? Definitely with the butter, putting it inside of the mushrooms as well. That's always awesome. That's why we love to cook over low temperatures, because we get to reserve all of those beautiful cannabinoids that come with cannabis. Who wants to burn that stuff off, right? I don't. I mean, I love the benefits of it. All right, so let's get our paninis off of the press, and they look so good. Yummers. So we're going to let these hang out. And what is better than with grilled cheese and like tomato soup? So guys, you have to make sure you check out our next episode because we're wrapping up all of this. All right. So I'm your girl, Chef Jazz. If you love this recipe or any other recipes, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. We definitely appreciate that. And then check out more recipes at greenpantherchef.com. See you later.